Yo, we are gathered here today for a podcast. We spent like 45 minutes setting this up, so appreciate the effort.
Word.
So today we have a former police officer, correctional officer.
No, it's not a correctional officer. So.
Oh man, you just gotta let it ride.
No, I gotta correct you on that.
Come on, let it ride.
Oh, the LEO.
What does that stand for?
Law enforcement officer.
Law enforcement officer. Yeah, put some respect on it. My bad. My bad. Put some respect on it. Law enforcement officer. Future lawyer. She will be a lawyer in the next month.
Claim it.
Non-profit holding. The name of it is Did It for the Hood. Go look it up on all platforms. IG, Facebook. You got Facebook yet?
Yeah, everything.
I Did It for the Hood. If you don't know, you will know her eventually. My sister from another hitter. That ain't rhyme like I thought it would. T Hardaway. The T is for tough. Yes.
Fool.
You are in for a treat. I'm telling you. We're going. She hit me up earlier and asked what type of topics would we talk about, and I sent her some. I sent you like a couple, but then I was thinking like it's Imageless, so we just gonna rock. Whatever. So you wanted to talk about what in the beginning? You hit me with something, and I gotta go to my my notes. Like I feel like a preacher right now. I gotta go to my notes. What was the first thing though?
Sleeping on yourself.
Sleeping on yourself. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you going right in? Oh.
I mean, we could keep it light.
No.
You tell me. This your show. This your show, brother. I'm just here for you.
Sleeping on yourself. All right, let's get into it. Sleeping on yourself. Why do you think we sleep on ourselves?
Man, it depends, bro. Like a lot of it is just a self-esteem thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot of it's just a self-esteem thing, I think, because if you're not around a bunch of people to reaffirm how good you are or to show you that you have value, those who see your value will try to diminish it because they don't want you to understand what your value is. So you'll walk around like, oh, I'm just, you just lackadaisical about your capabilities. But because you're in the wrong circle or it's never been reinforced to you how good you are, you walk around sleeping on yourself.
So you preface that by saying you're hanging out with your own crowd. You said that?
I would say that's a part of it.
Okay.
I would say that's a big part of it. Because, what do they say? The people that you spend the most time around is who you become.
Mm-hmm. Five closest is who you will become.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the people who know you, if people really, if they're really about you and they see your talents, they're always going to motivate you to do better. But people that envy or hate you, or they see it and they want to dim your light. Remember I told you about the light?
Mm-hmm.
They'll shun away from it. Or they'll get angry with you. Because they see your light and it angers them that they see
It's
it.
amazing how your circle, like the importance of your circle.
Yes.
It's important because it's like certain individuals, if they were brought up in the wrong circle, they would never become who they are today because of the same exact things that you mentioned.
Absolutely.
Let me see.
And it'll cause you to sleep on yourself. And the crazy thing is, when you don't know your value, you'll miss a lot of opportunities. Because you'll say, that's not for me. I can't do that. Because you're sleeping on yourself. But in all actuality, you're more than qualified and more than capable. You just have never done it, or whatever it may be.
It's all coming from a confidence issue.
Yes.
Confidence issue.
In my opinion, yes.
But what if, I was saying this earlier, what if, okay, I believe at some point those individuals tried to show who they were. And for some reason, that was shunned.
The people who hated on you, or the people
The
who had
person with
who
the
had
talent,
a light. Okay.
the person with the talent, with the light. I believe at one point in their lives they tried to show it, or just try to be themselves, and then eventually, by being themselves, they would discover their talent and their gift. But I believe at one point they were shunned. So what happens when you try to be yourself and you're shunned, and then you stop being yourself?
Well, see, that's two whole different issues. The first,
that's so big.
They're huge. Okay. When you decide to be different, you have to understand that you will suffer.
Already, because the world has a speed that it moves at. And if you don't move according to that speed, you're going to be like, they're going to look at you like, you don't value the things that we value? What's wrong with you?
And you have to remember you'll suffer. But you have to come into it knowing, well, actually, you don't come into it knowing, you grow into knowing that you're going to suffer. But suffering is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. That's growth. But you have to know that by being different, you're going to have to take on a lot of the world by yourself. You have to know that you're going to have to grow in ways that other people won't have to grow. You're going to see things that bring pain to you that other people ignore. And so that's just a part of your glow. That's a part of your light. When you start to step into your light and see who you really are, and you start to understand the things that make you unique and your gifts, the first thing that's going to happen is your circle going to shrink. That's the first thing that's going to happen.
Which is understandable.
That circle going to shrink.
Who is this person? Like, we painted you in this box.
Right.
Who is you?
Right. And how dare you get out of it? How dare you step out of this box?
Exactly.
And people don't like the unfamiliar. Like, I may be used to treating Gary this way. I know him. This is how I treat him. But then you come in with a whole different swag, and you're like, no, we're not doing that no more.
How easy is it to fall in that?
What?
That trap of who people paint you.
Oh, very easy.
It's safe, right?
It's easy. But the problem is, once you grow past that point, you can't go back. That's the crazy part. Once you start to really grow, and you start to expand past that box, you can't go back in it. It's painful to get back in it. Because what they say, ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
But when you no longer have ignorance,
my notes, man.
What?
We gotta no. This is too good.
That's real talk.
Too good. Sleeping on yourself. Some people die sleeping on themselves.
Absolutely.
That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Like, that's tragic. Tragic, because that's scary. Because that means you have the possibility of dying without discovering who you are. Like, nobody's gonna come and force you. You think that you think things are sweet. You think that one day a knock is gonna come at your door. It's like, all right, time to be focused. It ain't gonna happen like that. Year 30 gonna pass. Year 31 gonna pass. Year 32 gonna pass. Year 33 gonna pass. Year 34. And if nothing changed, like, there's nobody coming.
No,
you feel me?
Yeah, you have to save yourself.
But let's get. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the most impactful statement I ever heard was one of my professors said to me, because I was talking to her.
Where you go to school at?
Family law.
Okay, just put that out.
You just put that in the streets. But one of my professors was talking to me, and she said, I was saying something to her about one of my dreams or something I wanted to work on, and it must have been the way that I was speaking, because she stopped me and she said, "Oh, you're waiting on somebody to save you. They're not coming." And she cut it so straight, and it was such an impactful
Ain't nothing
moment.
you can do but deal with it.
But you know what? For a lesser person, they would have gotten upset.
Exactly.
They would have got pissed. But it cut right through. I said, "Oh shoot, I am waiting on somebody to save me," and then everything changed from that moment.
I think so much people are searching for truth, and you can recognize it when you hear it.
If you want to.
Yes. If you want to.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to. You have to be ready. You have to understand, like, that there's more out here. You can't, like, if you're the status quo, if you think what you see is your reality, you are, like I said, the world moves at a totally different pace, like, and it's like you said, it's levels to everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you know, you know. If you don't, you're clueless. I was talking to my friend about sensitivity, and he's paralyzed from the neck down.
Yeah.
Yeah. the things that you appreciate are because your sensitivity level is so high that you can appreciate the small things, which is the secret to life, right? It was just appreciation. And for a lot of people, we get so comfortable and we start to think that we deserve certain things. You know what I'm saying? And in that, I think that like $10,000 was crazy amount, right? To me. Now it's like, you know what I'm saying?
That's a down payment on something.
Exactly. But, you know, when I was young, it was just like
$10,000.
You know what I would do? I would buy a Phantom, buy a house.
Because your concept of money hadn't came in yet. You didn't really understand at that time.
So it took situations, right?
It took growth.
Yeah,
it took growth
to understand. Like, okay, it's not that easy. The value of money.
Yeah.
And then my sensitivity level grew, so now I can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not sure where that was going, but
This guy.
Let's go. Let's see. I was talking to my boy earlier. He just had a baby girl. I was just telling him how life is precious. Like, I haven't talked to him in about over a year. Cool dude, right? Over a year. And I'm just saying, man, like, life is so precious, and like, being a father has to be one of the dopest things, I think.
Probably so.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not a parent, but yeah, I'm sure.
I can just imagine like being a
pops.
I think that's one of the, or a mother. I'm not sure about the mother side. I can speak. I'm sure it would be for a mother.
I'm sure.
But I'm saying from a father, right? I don't have those emotions, but from a father's perspective, I just think that a father would be the dopest thing. And why are we on here? It's imageless. But hopefully this ties into something. But if it doesn't, it's just a good rabbit trail to go down.
Rabbit hole.
It's worth it. A lot, but, and I think this is just people in general, we get lost in we get so focused on the trees that we forget the forest.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in the grand scheme of things, let's just use like a father example. Father, like, that is so dope. You have a seed. You have a little you running around that's dependent on you to learn about everything. Like, they're so dependent upon you, and it's up to you to kind of mold and shape them in their perspective of the world. Why would you not want to? For one, and why do so many people like, or not? I can't say so many. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Why do some people, some fathers? I'm asking you a question that I already know the answer to. This is weird.
Just say it. You may want a different perspective.
Because I'm answering the question as I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. Like,
why do people what? Why do fathers what?
Why do some people get lost in the forest?
As far as what? Like,
as far as the experience of being just.
Because, bro,
and that applies to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That applies to being a coworker, a CEO, a son, a sister, a daughter. Just your role in life, like.
Why do we get lost away from it, or why do we get lost in the monotony of life?
We get lost in the monotony of life.
Because it's regimented, bro. Like, if you're not an entrepreneur, or if you're not in something that requires you to have to expand yourself on a regular basis, whatever that may be, you don't even have to be an entrepreneur. Let's just say you're in a very challenging career that constantly challenges you, whatever that may be. You literally get used to a routine, and that is it. And that's when the years start to pass, because you have the baby. You still go to work, you're married, or whatever the case may be. Nothing's changing on a day-to-day basis. Y'all might take a vacation every now and then. But when have you ever stepped out and really done anything different than your monotony? Versus if you're an entrepreneur, or I just speak from the entrepreneur space because that's what I know. Every day's different. You wake up in the morning, you're like, whew, okay, I got a bunch of tasks to do. Okay, this may take me to New York. This may take me to here. So your life is just different and moving. So you get lost in the sauce just because you get into the routine. You get stuck in it every day. Because it's the rat race. That's having a job. That's life. Now, you need a healthy routine to maintain balance as a human being, but your routine does not have to be, I sit here, I wake up at 8 o'clock, I go to this place, I type for 10 hours, I come home. That don't have to be your routine.
No.
I was going to say, your routine just has to be something that keeps your mind, body, and spirit in alignment.
So we're not meant to be comfortable.
No, there's no such thing.
But a lot of people look for it.
And they find it, too. And they find it. And they see what's on the other side of it. That's when you see these guys. That's when you start to see these guys who are like, I just use this as an example because that's how people's minds work. You see these people who are millionaires, right? Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh man, he's so lucky. He's not lucky. I mean, if his money was self-made, he's not lucky. He or she is not lucky. Mm-hmm. It was a constant grind every day. Mm-hmm. They just refuse to get comfortable. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Two different ways of seeing life.
They just refuse to get comfortable.
I think the biggest proponent of not seeing life like that is fear.
Hell yeah.
Fear is one of the biggest proponents.
Fear and shame.
Shame. Mm-hmm. The fear of shame.
The fear of failure
keeps your image intact.
Shame keeps your image intact.
But we want a broken image.
Yeah.
When you're broken, for myself, I can speak. When I was like the times I was broken, like I was at the most peace. It's weird. It's weird because there was nothing for me to uphold.
Yeah, there was no image.
There was no image.
Mm-mm. The best place to be is at the bottom, and people don't realize it. That's why everybody's like, "Oh, I want to rush to get to the top," but they don't realize the fun is in the struggle. Once you get to the top, it's hard.
You gotta stay there.
You gotta stay there, right? And that's more work.
The people coming for you.
Yes, they're coming for your neck because now they see you. Because before you were the underdog in anything you do, but while you on that way up, all those fun memories you have from when you broke. What?
Real quick, no, my bad. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying all those fun memories you have from when you broke, all those the creative stuff, the last minute stuff, all that stuff. As you get higher up, everything becomes more organized, more centered, more corporate, so to speak. So once you start getting money, now you're responsible for 400 people underneath you or whatever the case may be. That's just responsibility. That's not.
It's like a football game. It's like you score 48 points and now you got to play prevent.
There you go.
Defense, and that's boring.
There you go.
And I'm out there slanging. No more.
Right. And that's why you see a lot of business people, you'll see them create businesses, they make money, they sell them off and go start a new one. Because the fun was in the grind.
One of my mentors told me that.
Mm-hmm.
He said you build a business to sell it.
Sell it.
I'm like...
Yeah. Because the fun is in the creating.
He says some people, they love their business and they do this and they love it. He's like, you build it to sell it. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, they don't get attached to it.
Never thought like that, but all right.
They don't get attached to it. It's just, it's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, certain things will be close to your heart, like a nonprofit and stuff like that.
Sure.
But
that's why it's a nonprofit.
Right, right. But like your business, your regular business, they build them to sell them because they're not emotional. But it's also the process. Like you start to understand, like once you meet process guys and guys and girls that are addicted to the process.
They get it.
It's just the grind. They just love the grind part.
So I'm gonna touch base with you on that one. When did you realize you weren't as smart as you thought you were?
Give me a little bit more. What do you mean?
For me, I thought that right now, I know I need a process. Like I know I need a routine, but the routine is to stay imageless. Mm-hmm. The routine is to do things that I know I need to do. Mm-hmm. But just trying to remember this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. I'm not that smart.
It's not about you being that smart.
I think I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, and then I get a phone call. I forget what I gotta do. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do this, and it's just like.
It's not about you being smart and not smart. It's just about learning how to lean on your strengths. I was reading the other day. It's funny that you asked that question. I was reading the other day, and there was a quote talking about you become wise once you understand what your strengths are and you understand how to delegate your weaknesses. That's when you have become smart or intelligent, I guess you could say. Because we all have quirks. Let's say I'm a visionary. I can see things far beyond. I'm just thinking in the future, blah, blah, blah. However, I may not be a tedious task person. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, all that little stuff, somebody else got to do that.
So are you of the mindset that you focus your attention on your strengths and your weaknesses?
You delegate.
Delegate.
Absolutely. That is my philosophy.
Okay, I like it.
Lean into your strengths, make them stronger. Those things that you're not good at, delegate. Because you waste more time trying to convince yourself that I can get better at this.
Right.
No, you can't, friend. I mean, you may be able to, but that's 10 years. He's already good at it. That's 5 minutes. Let him do it. Why do you have to be good at? You don't have to be good at everything. But I think that's a mindset that especially.
I think you find an image in that too. That I'm good at everything.
I think it's a mindset, especially for like minority communities. They make us believe that we have to work.
It has to be. Go ahead, my bad.
No, go ahead, we have to work every part of it. Like you gotta know every part of it. And when I started to hang around people who had a little change, I started to realize they don't do every part of anything. They'll get a crew together. This is your job. This is your job. This is your job. Boom. And before you know it, their business blew up in like a year.
It's that easy. One person thinks like a job, and one person thinks a bigger picture.
Yes. Let's put the team together. See, if we put a team together that can prosper, now we can just blow up a lot faster. But they say you can go now by yourself. You can go further with a team.
Something like that.
It's some type of saying, but yeah.
Okay.
So, this is my personal belief.
I can dig it.
I wish I knew what your people were saying.
What they saying? I can't see.
I can't see you.
Let's see. I don't know why I'm having a brain plunge. I think that's my image. I have a brain plunge because like I'm on live.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned about my image, and I shouldn't.
Oh man, F that.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say F it.
I know.
But it's a mindset.
Well, brother, when you get used to walking around as the oddball, you don't really think about stuff like that. Real talk. When you get used to the oddball.
What was your process of becoming imageless?
Imageless. I don't think that I am.
I think you're on the path, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't think I'm imageless. We all have insecurities. We all have things that we worry about.
At some point in your life, did you? I mean, you just said your image. You have an image.
But my image is based on who I am, so I don't know if that's an image, because I'm not portraying anything to the world that I'm not. So I have an image, but it was kind of like, it's who I am. So is it an image? You know what I'm saying?
I'm speaking on the image of trying to protect it, like a persona.
No, I don't have
ego.
Nah, I don't have a persona I'm trying to protect. No.
And your images, for sure.
Okay, well I'm imageless then.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have a persona I'm trying to protect.
At some point in your life, did you have a persona that you were trying to protect?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah.
Insecurity when you're young.
Uh-huh.
I think everybody's insecure when they're young, because you don't really know who you are.
And what did it take for you to find out who you were?
A bunch of different experiences, bro. Like going into law enforcement, seeing that side of things, going to law school, and over time, I just started to develop as a person. All of the different trials that I went through in each phase, it peeled back a layer.
So the only way you found out who you were through trials.
Yeah.
Did you receive any resistance from others when you were discovering who you were? Yeah.
Yeah. I received some hatred, honestly.
I think that's a test to see, like, are you really about this?
Yeah. I received some hatred. Like, I received from people I didn't even expect. Like, when I started going to school, because when you start going to school, when you read more, your brain starts to change. You start to speak differently.
Yeah.
If
you comprehend what you're reading.
If you're comprehending what you're reading.
Right.
And the person I knew really well was like, "Oh, you sound white." And I'm looking like, "You?" Like it was a person I had known forever. And I'm like, "What the hell?" But then that started to become the thing because they started to recognize, and I think when you start to find yourself, your tolerance level goes down. Like the things that you would accept before, you no longer accept because you now understand your value.
Accepting from
from the outside world, whoever. Because then
okay, go ahead.
Because then you start to set boundaries.
Oh yeah.
Because I think when you don't understand who you are or you don't understand your value, you don't understand how to set boundaries. People just be all invading in your space. But then once you start to get that sense of self, you're like, no, that ain't okay. This is not okay. We're not doing this. And when you become vocal, people don't know how to take that, especially if they've just been doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that can shift relationships, everything. So I experienced all of that. All of that.
But it was worth it.
Absolutely. You know one thing I experienced that I wasn't expecting?
What's up?
When we're talking about how people, I don't know if we talked about it today, but we talked about it before, how people will see your growth and it's intimidating to them. I experienced that. And it was so, I was getting treated so badly. And I'm like, what?
That's why I was hesitant.
What is wrong?
When you said the tolerance shrinks. I understand from your perspective, and you're right. I think when you understand who you are, your tolerance grows. In that, you see that person for what it is.
Your understanding grows, not your tolerance. No, your tolerance gets short. You're like, no, I don't want to hear all that. A lot of things, I'm telling you, bro, your tolerance gets short, your understanding gets further, it gets larger. Because now, it was like, before it's a thing of, oh, they hating on me. But then, when you have that understanding, it's like, oh,
it's like you're not doing something that you see me doing.
Right. Oh, my success is confirming your failure. Oh.
I'm not even mad at you.
Right. Right. And it's not that, and what they don't realize is we can stop failing if we just start moving. If you just start moving, you can stop failing. You failing at whatever you feel like you're failing at. Because you don't truly fail until you stop. Then you have failed. My boy, I had a friend of mine. I ain't gonna blast him. I ain't gonna say his name.
Don't do that.
I'm not gonna blast him. But he said to me, he was like, he told me he wanted to get into real estate. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, bro, get into real estate. Blah, blah, blah. And after a while, I don't know why he admitted it. He just said, bro, I just feel like I'm scared of failing.
I like that he admitted, though. I like that. That's a step. That's a step.
But my whole conscience is like, if you don't try, you failed anyway.
I like, yeah, for sure.
Because if you're gonna get,
you can't fail if you try.
You what?
You can't fail if you try.
You can't fail if you continue.
Right. Yes.
If you continue, you can't fail. Because you're gonna fall. Because you're
gonna fall. Like
you're gonna fall.
People need to know this, man.
Yes,
you feel what I'm saying? It's like
because you don't know, especially like minority kids in particular, minorities in general. There are a lot of doors that were never open to us. So it's a lot of things we don't know. So where a lot of us are first gen in so many ways, we have to fall to figure it out.
I'm gonna take you even further. Not only do you have to fall, you gotta be like bold about it. Like, I'm gonna get this. It's not like, oh, I failed.
Yeah. Oh
Try
my God.
Again.
No. You have like, audacity.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The audacity of life to where people say, who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you have to be ready. No matter how things turn out.
I am who I am.
And I own it.
I will be what I will be.
Mm-hmm.
You can't define me. You can't put me in a box. I can't put myself in a box.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still discovering myself. Mm-hmm. So it's like a road to imageless. It's like you've never arrived. You are imageless by being on the road.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I saw another quote, and I wish I could remember who these people said these things. But they said, you become an adult once you realize that adulthood is nothing but an arts and craft project. You constantly putting pieces on paper. It never stops, and that's the rest of your life. It never stops. So if you're looking for the moment when things come together, good luck. It doesn't ever come together. It doesn't ever come together.
What? Nobody's coming.
No, and
nobody's coming to check on you.
No.
Hey, Johnny, you doing it right. That's one of the reasons school doesn't prepare you for the real world. Like, they help too much.
Yeah, you got to take a little hands off.
They help too much, and which is understandable because it's tied into their pay.
Yeah, yeah.
But the system is messed up, man.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother.
Whole nother, not another. Whole nother.
But yeah.
Let me see. You know what? Let's get into some things like that I haven't really thought about.
Yeah.
But like, let's just talk about fear. Fear in and of itself.
All right.
What is fear?
False evidence appearing real.
False what? Say that again.
False evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real.
You never heard that? That's an acronym for fear?
And I think fear happens in our thoughts.
Yeah, everything happens in our thoughts.
Not like the actual action. We fear what may come because of the past.
We fear a lot of stuff. We fear perception. We fear rejection. We fear failure. We fear everything. We fear everything that's going to make you great. Because you're going to have to go through all of those things in order to become great. Because nobody's going to... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think we spend our lives developing this image to find worth in this world.
Yeah, and not realizing that the worth only comes from self and spirituality.
Dang.
Because we're looking for man to give us validation, and that ain't going to happen.
I wrote that down the other day.
Man ain't going to never validate you.
That.
You're never going to be perfect. If you have a perfect physique, somebody going to find something wrong with it. If you have the perfect voice, somebody going to find something wrong with it.
Looking for perfection in imperfect individuals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like when you see people, when you talk about like being afraid of failure, what I started to realize, my whole perception on that changed when I recognized the only people that will ever pick on you for failing are people who have never tried. Those are the only people. I'm sitting there like,
It's levels to this thing.
Bruh. But those are the only people. Because people who are out here hustling, if they see you fail, they be like, hey, dust stuff off, little bro. You got it. They're going to give you some positive words.
It's like running, right? If you don't run, you like 3 miles.
Ain't nothing.
I can knock that out easy.
But
you hit that first mile and you haven't run in a while, a monkey come out the palm tree and just hop on your back.
Right.
But you have a different perspective.
Yes.
You have
done it.
You have a heightened sensitivity.
Yes.
To what you just said. And I'm understanding real quick. I'm understanding that, like, sometimes when I talk to people, I have to make sure that the words mean the same thing before we can continue the conversation.
What do you mean?
I can't just agree with everything, because a lot of the times the way that I interpret the word isn't the way that they interpret the word, and that's where the misunderstanding comes from.
True.
It's like we're saying the same word with different interpretations.
True indeed. True indeed. Yeah.
It's a crazy time. We're living in a pandemic.
Yeah, well, everybody's outside again, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They said the number spiked.
I'm not shocked at all. They at the clubs, chilling.
As soon as they said phase 1, I saw Atlanta
lit
on the shade room.
Lit.
I'm like.
And the sad part is it's affecting minorities more than anybody else.
Yeah? Is that true?
Yeah.
I try not to watch the news.
Yeah.
Man.
It's affecting minorities more than anybody else, and we the ones running outside. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Listen, I tried to talk to my old head the other day. Just wanted to check on him, see how he was doing. Right down the hall. And he cracked the door on me.
Heck yeah.
He said, "You're the carrier."
I ain't mad at
you.
you.
Said, got a mask on. I said, "Man, I just came to check on you. Make sure you ain't
kick the bucket in here.
Kick the bucket, making sure you good." He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I can't even get game from the old head because of the coronavirus, man. It's tough out here. It's tough out here."
Man, what you telling?
But he good. His name is Mr. Fred.
Oh yeah, you know he got game. His name
Mr.
Fred.
Got game.
Old school player.
He cutthroat with it too. Ain't no cushion in what he says.
I love talking to the old head.
He said, "You ain't buy shit."
I love talking to old heads because old heads got such a real perspective on life. They done seen it all.
Ain't got time to waste.
No, they gonna cut straight through. They gonna cut straight through.
Straight to it.
Oh man,
how can someone Whoa. How can someone be selfish and not know it?
What the heck? First of all, what just happened to you?
I messed up on my words.
What?
How can someone, like,
Be
think about
selfish
it?
and not know it?
Yeah.
That was me for many years.
These are just random thoughts that I had throughout the day.
That was me for many years.
By the way,
What?
for those that are watching, we were talking earlier. If the conversation that we have throughout the day,
yeah,
not just between us, but with other people, those conversations are some of the dopest conversations.
For sure.
They will never be heard.
Never be heard at all.
And a lot of times, they don't need to be. That's just for you and that person.
Just in the moment.
Right? But yeah, being selfish.
How can you be selfish and not know it?
Yes.
I think selfishness is my personal belief. Selfishness is just a sign of immaturity. I think, in my own belief, that's what I think. Because when you start to expand your mind, because I'll say it myself, I was very selfish. And I didn't even know I was selfish because I thought the world revolved around me to the point where I wasn't even able to, like, if you had feelings or emotions about something, I was so oblivious that I wouldn't even pick up on the fact that you had emotions about anything. I'm like, yeah, that up, because I'm saying what I need to say, and I'm getting my mind out, getting it out. I'm not worried about how you are perceiving things because I don't really care.
Right.
But it wasn't like consciously; it was just immaturity. And then when you start to like expand your mind, learn more things, be exposed to more, read more, it changes the way that you see things. And so now you're able to be like, oh shoot, I'm hurting his feelings, or oh, he didn't take that well, or whatever the case may be. So I just think I think it's a sign of immaturity.
That's why I think it's wise to understand, like, to always be open to certain things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To most things, because you only operate in your current understanding.
Yes.
And there's so much more.
Yes.
There's so much more to life. Like the Bible talks about the abundant life, right? I think the abundant life comes from a heightened perspective.
Yeah.
Just being thankful.
And simplicity. Very simple things. It's not the things that we think that are going to make us happy, like the money and all that kind of stuff. It's the simple things. And a lot of your happiness comes from helping other people. And that's for me, that's where a lot of my happiness comes. That's how I even started this company. Because I realized that I was empty because I wasn't helping anybody for real.
That's just you.
What you mean?
Helping people.
Yeah.
Right? That's just you. Because some people can, I don't need to help anybody. I made $200,000 last year.
But you know what? A lot of times, even I think portions of the Bible talk about it. Helping people, and that's one of the tenets of the Bible. I mean, overarching ideas of the Bible, and in many other religions as well. I think those people they get off on that high of, oh, I made money, I did this. But how many of them?
But who is that for? Most times.
What?
That.
The money thing?
Yeah.
Themselves.
You think so? I mean, like, who are they making money for?
Themselves,
but who is it to them? I think it's to impress.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
But they're hollow on the inside, though.
Right.
That's the whole problem. They have all of the glitz and glamour, which is dope. But when you're not helping anybody, or you're not using your influence for good, typically, a lot of them people be by themselves, or the facade that they built, these people that are around them are only around them for money.
So the facade of this world it forces you to have an image, I think. I think the facade of this world, like the lies of this world, force you to have an image.
Everything forces you to have an image. I know I know the imageless thing is your bag, right? Everything forces you to have an image. If you're going to be a celebrity, you have an image. You have to uphold whatever it is. Even if you come out and your image is, I'm grungy, you gotta be grungy at all times because that's not your image. If you're an attorney, you got to be dressed up and suited and booted because that's what they expect to see you looking like.
But when I say the world, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Who's giving that?
What do you mean who's giving it? Everybody. That's what your expectation is. You want to hear a funny story? I had a professor. He said he was an attorney, and he said he was trying to offer like discounted legal services to people trying to help him out. So he had cut his rates down by like $200, so that anybody could get his services. He had no business Nobody was coming to him. Period. So he went to an older attorney and was talking to him, and the guy said, "Jack your prices up by $200." And he's like, "Why?" He said, "Why should I jack my prices up?" He said, "Just do it and see what happens." So he did. When he jacked his prices up, doors flooded. And I said, "Well, what the hell happened?" He said, "Because you got to think about it. What do people typically think the sign of a good lawyer is? How much you paid for him." He said, "So if
that takes audacity.
How much you paid for him. So if you paid less, you assume, oh, he's not as good."
Yeah.
And he said, "You know what? That's silly, but that's a sign of image." "Oh yeah, man, I paid $800, whatever. I paid whatever. So you can brag to your buddies how much you paid, not the services, just so you can keep up the image that you got it. And that's stupid.
I don't know. I think that could be tied to you're good, so you have all these people trying to hire you, and the only way that you can weed them out is by raising the price.
For some, yes. For some, no. For some are just trash, and they understand marketing.
Yeah.
Because you got some of the greatest attorneys in the world. They work at the state attorney's office.
That's what I hate. Like, even this podcast thing. I wasn't even going to do this podcast. Because I don't like, and like as crazy as it sounds, I don't like being in front of a camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather be...
But there's no way to convey your message if you don't.
Right? It seems like everybody is sounding the same. Y'all talk like this, and huge 10X, and you know what I'm saying? And they use all their hand signals. It's like they went to school. Like, they all sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I just don't want to be another voice, you know? But I think if what you have is real, you know, I think it will connect with those that need to hear it. And those that don't.
But this is what you got to remember. Each person's journey is distinct. You're not just another voice. There are a group of imageless kids or imageless adults that want to have a voice, and you become their voice.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing with though is that people need to know there's other people that are struggling just like you.
Absolutely.
To find out who you are.
Absolutely.
And it's scary because you're discovering yourself, but that's good. It's fun. It's fun and scary.
There's no bigger attractor than honesty and truth. But it's the hardest thing for people to be.
It saves so much time.
Yeah. And you get so much further when people are honest with you.
You may not like it.
But it cuts through. Because you hear it. But it's also about your maturity and if you're ready to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say at every point in my life where I grew the most, it was when somebody just cut straight to the point with me. Like, they killed my facade of what I thought I was.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately when that happened, I grew. I'm like, damn. Because you see yourself for who you are. I had an ex like that. She ran me through the ringer. But told me everything I needed to hear. And it made me grow. Mm. But honesty is hard for people.
I think it's hard for them once they have experienced it or before.
Do you mean receiving it or giving it? Because some people can receive it.
These are lawyer questions.
I'm not a lawyer.
But you are a lawyer. T. Hardaway.
No.
The T is for tough.
I'm not.
T-U-F-F.
I'm not. But, no, I mean, is it giving it or receiving it? Like, because some people can receive honesty, but they can't give it.
Can't give it. I would say giving it.
Giving honesty is hard for some people.
Because every time you give it, it's like you have to do that thing.
Mm-hmm. Or you have to know how to give honesty without giving... you have to know how to give honesty without being malicious.
So how to say it.
Yeah. Because
I think that's a lot of stuff. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Absolutely. Because some people are haters and some people are just honest.
And you can hear it.
Yes. Because you can hear it in the message. You can hear it in the message. You can hear it how they deliver it.
But they say all this stuff and they come with but. That means everything behind that is, is hate. But
when I'm getting ready to drop a serious message, if it's my dog, like my people that's real close to me, they know I don't say anything out of malicious. I'm just not that type of person. Mm-hmm. Nothing I say is malicious. So if I come at you like, Gary, what the hell are you doing? the hell going on? Because I see something that's going on with you,
right.
Not because.
I think that's because you have your own lane.
Correct.
And you know who you are.
Correct. But I had to get to that point.
Right. Those that don't know who they are could be trying to hop in your lane. You're like, whoa. I'm running the 400 meter.
Do you, bro?
You're running the marathon. Like, don't try to keep up with me.
No.
Like, you got to pace yourself.
And trying to, oh my God, just trying to keep pacing your own lane without getting distracted by what's going on to me.
That's why I had to take a break off social media.
Oh my God. That junk, man. It's so deceiving because it's not real. It's not real. But it will mess with your psyche because you'll start to believe that it's real. A lot of that stuff ain't real.
We know that.
We know. I mean, of course we know that.
Yeah.
But think about the people who don't. Especially the young and impressionable minds.
And even if you know, like, I was thinking the other day, like, if you are, and I'm guilty of it, right? If you are posting pictures, like in the light, with your clothes, this and that, whatever, to me, in my head, I'm just like, now I'm like, that's kind of whack. Unless you have a purpose of why you're doing it.
A product or something.
A product or something, but I don't care about your best you.
But people do. This is the image generation.
Your perfect you, like...
I didn't realize, like, when I'm working around kids...
That's another thing I want to get to. I hope I don't forget, but go ahead.
When I started working around kids, that's when I started to realize how image conscious they are now. Like, they are really image conscious. And I don't remember us being that image conscious when we were kids. They're extremely like, what kind of shirt is that? What kind of shoes are those? Like, they're really into that. I mean, we like rock Nikes and stuff like that, but it was like, it's on another level, especially now they have social media.
For sure.
I was just, and I just sat back and watched them. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Just to observe them. But it's because they have this mirror called social media. And you have to be your perfect self. You gotta have the right pose. You gotta have the right angles. The light gotta hit you just right. I gotta go by the green door so I can take pictures. Like,
and this is the definition of success
for a kid, and for some adults.
That's why I keep saying according to the world, because it's like those that get it.
I don't think it's the definition of success. I think it's just the image of success.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, right. It's the image. People want to look like.
Rather than be.
Yeah, because being takes work. Looking like is easy.
Looking
like it's very easy. If you look at my social media and see how often I get on that mug, not much, because I'm busy living. I don't have time. I don't have time to sit here and take 30,000 pictures. You can't do that when you're reading, studying, trying to build something. You don't have time to just sit there and take pictures.
You go to a concert. You take a few pictures, a video, like, okay. The rest of the time, you should be like engaged.
Yes,
engaged, because you're living through a screen.
Yes.
It's like you're at home.
In it. You can't. But that's the era we live in. You go to a show now, everybody got their phone, they're watching the show through the phone. I'm like, bro, you're not even here. Like, we're here right now.
They're not present.
Dude. Take the picture, put the phone down, let's vibe. Enjoy the moment. That's what I'm saying. I just went to go see Nip Hussle.
Yeah.
When we went to go see Nipsey Hussle, we was up in the balcony area, and rest in peace to him. But thank God we were present in that moment. Like, we got to actually see him. You know, he had his Pumas on. He was chilling. He brought out all these different people, and we didn't know that we would lose him shortly after, but we got to have those memories. Like, we remember those times. Just like me and my boy also, we went back to Atlanta because Atlanta is like our spot. Mm-hmm. We went back, and this is when Outkast had their 20th reunion. We were in the crowd. Lit. Never will forget it. It was the best concert I've ever been to.
Who?
Outkast. It was lit. And it was huge. Was it Piedmont Park?
Hold on. All right. Piedmont Park?
I think it's Piedmont Park or whatever the huge park is in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But it was thousands of people there. And we in the crowd, just expect, living it up, listening to all our favorite music by our favorite band. And we just in the moment enjoying life. We took a few pictures, but that was about it. We were just in it, having fun. Killer Mike and who else came up? Rich Homie Quan. It was all kind of people that was there. But it was a moment.
I tried that fathering example. I touched on it earlier. The kid is coming to you, like your child, wanting to know about the world. And I was telling my friend, like, boy or girl, I would have them playing basketball, right? But that's not just it. For them, I would have them playing anything that they want to. Because in my head, I'm like, go discover the world.
Yeah.
Go discover it.
Try stuff.
Try different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what you like. And I think God has that same perspective of us. Like, go discover my creation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we settle.
Because everybody's afraid of process, bro. Everybody think you're gonna jump out the porch and be great at the beginning, at everything, and then they're scared to struggle in front of people. I know for me, that's one of my things.
Man, that holds you back.
Man,
that's crazy.
That's one of my things. I ain't gonna even lie. When it comes to certain things, I will not do them in front of people. I only do them once I have them to a certain level. Then I'll do them.
It's that image, man.
I know.
If, not, getting on you. I'm just talking in general.
No, I feel you.
But, if you're not embarrassing, who's embarrassed? You know what I'm saying? It don't matter.
But the world...
It stops at you. The buck stops at you.
Yeah, but the world is so unforgiving about certain things.
Forget it.
It's easy to say.
Easy to say, for sure.
Easy to say.
Easy to say. Forget the world.
But in the same breath, you can forget the world, but you still have to remember that you're of the world. So I say that to say...
In it.
You're in the world. I say it like this. I say that to say, let's say, for instance, you start a new business or a new venture, right?
Yeah.
I liken anything that you're starting, anything that's new, I liken it to a child. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily that you're embarrassed or you don't want to show the world. It's that when a baby comes out, you don't take your baby out into the air. You don't take your baby around germs. You wait till that baby's immune system gets strong enough, till it gets big enough. Then you're like, all right, now I'll take you out and let other people see you. That's the same thing with a dream. When you get a dream, if you take it out too early and expose it to the world, they'll crush it. You have to let it get big enough and start to develop. Even sometimes you have to let it build your confidence so that it's big enough. And you're like, all right, I can deal with whatever the world takes on. Then you throw it outside. And then you let the world mess around with it. But you've already gotten that foundation. I don't think you should throw things out too early. So some things just have to take time. You got to cook them at home. Because in my opinion, all the times that I've had like great growth, I had to step away from the world and get quiet. I had to just be by myself for a while, and I had to let God work on me. Like you need to sit down. You need to go sit down for a second because you're doing too much. That's how I feel.
Your frequency.
You're like you're doing too much. Go sit down.
Yeah.
Because I gotta work on you. I gotta show you things, and that's why they always talk about like in Buddhism and other religions and things like that, they always talk about meditating and getting quiet. Sometimes you just got to step away and be quiet. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's the thing. I think sometimes you just have to take your dreams and let them incubate before you take them out into the world. It's not necessarily a thing of being ashamed of them, but you have to give them time because the world will snatch your dreams from you.
You remember, not this past year, but the year before last. Mm-hmm. There were like certain things that I did that I didn't tell anybody about until it was like time to go. Right? Mm-hmm. So I wind up in Detroit. Right. I got kids hopping on a plane. It's like.
But you just went for it.
I just went for it, and it's like they kind of didn't know until the last minute, mm-hmm. and even then, they tried to like pause it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if I had told y'all any of this,
y'all would have ruined it.
Y'all would have ruined this thing.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. But again, you had to get everything in line. And so by the time it got to them, the buck was moving already.
You just need to sign right here.
Yep, we're gone. Yep. They're like, well, don't worry about it. They don't even have time to think about it. Don't worry about it. We'll be back. Like,
We'll be back.
But what if you had said, hey, this is what I'm doing?
Well, you gotta do.
Boom.
World don't
worry
like
about
that,
it,
man. World don't work like that.
Right.
And it's principles. I was talking to my boy earlier. It's like the game may change, but the principles don't.
No.
The principles don't change.
The sad thing is there's a lot of people in the game that ain't principled.
And if you're not strong in who you are, they could influence.
Absolutely. Easily.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing is just about just being free, discovering yourself, being free to be yourself.
Being courageous enough to be yourself.
For sure. Being courageous and understanding that it is a journey.
And learning how to cultivate your space. Because that's a part of being yourself too. I don't think we talk about that enough.
What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
When you have enough gall to be yourself, you have to understand that you will be rejected by the world. Not all of the world, but certain people. Then you have to start to cultivate your group so that you know that being yourself is okay. You have to cultivate yourself with other people who are living in that same light. That's the only way that you can continue to be yourself. Because other than that, you're going to constantly be stepping out into a world that's rejecting you. And it does a lot to your mind.
For sure.
So you got to really cultivate that space. And that's why, like, for me now, my friend space is very small. Because you have to have a certain character to be around me. And that's just what I require. Because I take energy. I take on energy. I don't want everybody's energy. I really don't. I don't want everybody's energy. And I definitely don't. If you're a fearful person, I don't want to be around you. I don't want that. No.
But what if
you're a might as well person, I might as well. I hate that saying. I don't want to be around you either. I want to.
Go ahead. Go on.
No, I'm just saying, like,
keep flowing.
But you have to cultivate that space, and you have to understand that it's okay to cultivate that space, and you have to understand it's okay to let old friendships go.
Everybody's gonna make it.
Everybody ain't going with you. I had a hard time with that. I kept trying to delegate duties to people who weren't capable because I wanted to bring them with me, but everybody can't go with you. I had to learn that too, and I'm still on the way up. I'm at the bottom, but I'm still on the way up, but I know where I'm going. But you can't take everybody with you.
This is beautiful because life is precious.
Yes.
So, what you're saying may sound hard or tough, whatever, but you only get one of these.
It's not even hard or tough. This is my life. These are my choices. That's it. I take ownership of mine. What I decide to do with mine is mine. That's it. I don't owe you any allegiance. You don't owe me any. Whatever you decide to do for you is for you.
The world hates that.
But it's true.
The world hates that. You don't need me. You don't need my validation.
No. I don't. No. Because you won't ever validate me. You will never validate me. Because as long as I live, you ain't never going to be happy with what I'm doing. Regardless
of what you do.
Nope. You'll never be happy.
Listen.
You'll never be happy.
One of the conversations, like today, I observe a lot, right?
Right.
So this guy was laughing, and I saw him laughing, and I was just like, I told my boy, I was like, I'm the type of person, like, I want to see everybody happy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see everybody just, you know what I'm saying? And when I was younger, I would do things outside of myself to make people happy, like to achieve this, like, level of pleasure or whatever, you know, like to see them smile. But what I had to come to terms with and understand is that some people don't like themselves.
Heck yeah.
So how can I?
You can't. You can't. I already know you're going.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't.
How can I do something that makes this person feel my level, and my understanding of happiness?
You can't.
They may smile because it's funny or whatever, but
and they might be hurt.
To truly appreciate it, you don't have that power to do that.
Nope. Right. And that's the same thing that I think people go through with relationships. Now, some people, y'all might get mad at me Facebook Live. I'm sorry, but
there's people on there. IG ended. Let me see.
What they say on there? Any comment?
Said the same thing I was telling you about how I was scared to do certain things in basketball because of my confidence. Yup. You guys got my ear. Good conversation. Being courageous like MJ. Move forward like Jordan. This is my boy Kevin. We have a, what do they call it? What they call it? You temporary.
Did you delete the video?
No, I'm downloading it. A temporary, what do they call it? I don't know. I can't think right now.
I don't know. I don't know. But what was I saying? I said relationships. Oh. So while you fix, yeah, this gonna make some people mad. I'm sorry, Facebook.
Oh, you sure you want to say that?
I'm gonna say it because it's true.
All right, go ahead.
Just like when you're talking about trying to make people happy, and you can't because they're not happy within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when people try to make people love them that don't know how to love. That's the same thing.
Is it that they don't know how to love, or is it the people aren't mature in their love language? Like, you have an immature way of showing love.
Or you've never seen love done properly. So the way that you express it, because what we see, we become. So especially if you've watched your parents do, like, non-sensory, you follow right behind that. And you think that that's okay. And it's not. But you can't. But unfortunately, people don't want to walk away from relationships because they say, "Oh, I put in too much time." But you can't fix something like. You can't fix it if it's broken within. It's certain. I have certain deal breakers for me that I walk away from immediately.
Like.
If you don't read, I'm leaving. I'm not dating you.
Gone.
Out. Nope. Can't talk to you if you don't read. Because there's a certain level of development you won't get.
So they said if you want to hide something, put it in a book.
Put it in a book.
But you can't just read. Gotta understand.
True.
I'm piggybacking.
True. No. But it's a thing like...
Because it becomes like a signaling thing. Like, oh, you see how many books I read? I read 100 books last year. How much of that do you comprehend?
True. How much do you digest and take and put into your life?
Right. How much of what you read are you doing right now?
That's what I'm saying. Like, from when I started to feel like I wanted to... I started to have... This was before the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I didn't even know this was coming, but I started wanting to seek more sense of self because I was like... I started to feel disconnected because we're here in this continent, but we've lost a lot of our history. So, the first thing I read was... a message. I don't know why I picked this, but it was Elijah Muhammad's book, A Message to the Black Man. So I just started reading it, and I said, "Oh, okay." And then I found a bunch of other like historical books that I just wanted to read that were black based. My mind is always going. I can't help it. My conversation is not really light. I don't really watch sports. I don't really watch TV, so I don't really have a lot of like numbing conversation to have with you. So if you don't like read, or I'll be too much for you sometimes because you'll be like, all right, dog, I just want to talk about the weather. I'm like, right, I don't watch the Weather Channel, so I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. So,
Nah, I dig it.
That's why I spend a lot of time being quiet.
You find out a lot of stuff when you're quiet. People will fill the void.
Yeah, because they'll start talking.
Like, just look at them.
You're like, it's okay just to be quiet, kid.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say.
And people don't listen.
Man, I don't want to say this. This is going to take us on a whole nother... I ain't saying that, man.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not saying that. Let me see. Oh, I think this should be like the last topic.
Alright.
The thing that we try to hide most, right, is the thing that the people can most clearly see.
Explain.
I think that, so, like, the whole thing of an image is funny because the things that we're trying to protect will eventually be shown. And, like, they're easy to spot because you over-exaggerate yourself in that space. It's kind of like you got a stain on your shirt, and as soon as you do this, that's where I'm looking.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I think you can't help it. Like, I think when you have a flaw or an imperfection or whatever, you think everybody can see it. So you
try to hide it.
Yeah, you try to hide, like, oh my God, you try to make it become so big, but it's really not that big.
Your heart be racing.
Right. That's again, that's hard.
They can still see it.
But again, that's part of the honesty piece. What I've realized is that,
yeah, for sure,
it's hard to be honest.
For sure.
What I realized,
as soon as you're honest with yourself, go ahead. My bad.
No. As soon as you're honest with yourself, you set yourself free. But also,
yes,
you give other people the license to set themselves free, if they want to. Because one that I really noticed, people flock to honesty. They do. Because they're afraid of it. It's alluring. I have people who can't stand to talk to me, but they always come around to talk to me. I'm like, why are you over here? Because they know it's
authentic.
They gonna get me. They gonna get something
Whatever
wrong.
You sell, yeah.
So they'll come over, but it's a thing. Like, if you can connect with somebody on an honest level, it's different. That's how you get like cult like following and fans like that.
Them seeing you be yourself.
Just be you, and just say whatever you feel.
All right.
Oh boy.
I ain't gonna say what I got, but it's gonna touch on those lines. So, like, females, right?
All right.
I think a woman looks most beautiful.
Okay.
When she's natural. I'll just say that.
Without all the extras.
Without all that extra. To me, that takes away from who you are.
I agree. Natural beauty is the best beauty.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the world says you gotta do this, you gotta do that to look beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying. It's like.
But it's not a lot. But the thing is, the yous of the world don't talk loud enough. It's the other ones that speak a lot louder. That's why those women feel like they have to.
So what do they have? So what does the world have that we don't?
What you mean?
That causes it to be so
loud?
Loud and alluring.
People are just impressionable, bro. Like.
Yeah, but that can go both ways. That's what I'm saying. What do they have to offer? It's know. Like, this side offers you peace.
Mm-hmm.
But who wants peace?
Conformity.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, you just got to fit in.
It's easy.
Yeah. Conformity. And, okay, so as a guy, you're saying women are more beautiful to you when they're natural. Mm-hmm. Okay. But do you think you're the majority voice or the minority voice? I would say you're minority voice.
I think majority quietly.
So you're the quiet majority. So what does social media would say? Would they say you're the majority or the minority?
Minority.
They would say you're the minority.
For sure.
Which means they can't hardly hear you. So your kind... If we're just basing this on social media, your kind don't exist. Nobody says that right now. They want you to have Remy hair down your ass crack, and you got to be Brazilian. You got to be exotic. Okay? Knowing that you ain't never been to Brazil, and that is not your hair, that is not your body shape. You pay for that. All of that. But that's what media tells you is it. That's what you gotta look like. That's who you gotta be. Yeah. If anybody's gonna love you.
Dang.
If they're gonna love you,
why do we leave home for love?
Why do we leave home for love?
Why do we leave home for love? If we're loved at home, and that goes back to the sensitivity thing. It's like we aren't appreciative of that level of love to where we feel like we have to go out and find it. We don't value things that are given.
I think that if you have a strong family, you understand love and you understand value in a different way than somebody who's coming from a broken home. Because you go out and seek it. When you come from a broken home, you're going out and seek love because you've never seen it.
Okay. And
you go through all these different weird factions of what you think love is because you've never witnessed it. You've never actually seen it. But when you come from a healthy home and you're like, if you're a baby girl, I see this in women especially. I see this in women so much. If you have a woman who had a strong dad, a strong male figure in her life, it's certain shit she just don't tolerate. It's just like on period. And then you see girls who didn't have fathers, and they just go through the whole, they go through this whole rigmarole dealing with these guys who are like children. A woman who had a father that was strong, a dude threatened to leave, she's like, I'll let you, boy. We'll see you later. You can get your stuff in the door. Like, they're not as tolerant.
Right.
In those ways, because they saw somebody who was strong. So, if you didn't have it at home, you go get it in the streets. That's just my take.
Yeah. I think that's good.
I think we're gonna end it right there.
Yeah, we're gonna end it right there.
All right, y'all. Check me out. Did It For The Hood. At Did It For The Hood on all social media platforms. At Did It For The Hood, Facebook, Instagram, all that good jazz.
Man, they can't even see you on Facebook right now. They're just looking at me.
It's all good. Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all heard me, though.
Y'all not trying to hear me, man. I ain't got nothing to say.
It's all gravy, baby. It's all gravy. What they
That's
say?
true. A strong dad makes a strong daughter.
Very much so.
All right, my bad. Go.
Bro, you been riding like that for an hour.
Future lawyer.
Man.
Lawyer, not future. Lawyer.
I'm not. Listen, people.
She's in
I'm not
amazing,
saying. Listen.
She's in an amazing space. She's in.
I'm not
I ain't even gonna say what she in. Just know it's not a lot of her in that space.
I need y'all prayers. Y'all send some prayers up for me. I'm not a lawyer. I appreciate Gary and I love him for it, but I'm not. I'm just a street spokesman.
Man, you gotta have that audacity.
You do.
You gotta be, you gotta have that humble audacity.
Right, but that's illegal. I can't say that.
Oh.
I can't say that. That's illegal.
True that.
No, but I appreciate it, man. Man, I'm just I'm happy and thankful. 2020 has been a mess, but it has been.
But you here?
It's been a blessing.
You up? I mean, above ground.
But it's been a blessing if you identify it.
True.
Because it gave you the time to sit down and develop business. It gives you time to do all this stuff. So, I don't think it's bad. I think it's bad if you were in a bad position. We're hella blessed. Because there's some people that lost their jobs and...
That were struggling.
Yeah.
In 1200.
Yeah.
That's... not going to last you long.
Nah. Especially when you realize people that stand in these motels and stuff, they paying $600-700 a month in rent at a motel. At a motel. Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Let's give them some free game. Like
free game.
Free game.
What you want to tell? A free game about what?
I don't know, like finances. Let's talk about finance just for a little bit.
Finance. Free game on finance.
So, money switches between real estate and stocks.
Yep.
One is up, one is down.
Yep.
Stocks was up.
Mm-hmm.
But real estate about to jump.
I don't know where the number's at right now. Real estate's gonna crash if it hasn't already. Mm-hmm. Then it's gonna be up.
Then it's gonna jump.
Well, then it's a buyer's market.
So I talked to this guy, random guy, lawyer. I mean, he wasn't a lawyer, broker, and I was just asking him, if you were, in the stocks, what would you do? He said, cash, straight liquid.
Mm-hmm. Get up out of there.
Get up out of there. Which means they're doing that to buy property.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
and mortgage interest rates are like dirt right now.
They're gonna continue to drop.
Yep. So if you got some money to go get you a house, go get you one. Right now is the time. If you got some cash to go get you one. Well, pay attention to make sure the market is where you need to be.
Yeah, this is a special time because I think like no other. You have everybody out there trying to buy homes.
Yeah.
That's on the house flipping thing. Mm-hmm. It's like people are ready. A mass amount of people are ready, mm-hmm. which is kind of scary because when everybody knows something, that never sat right with me.
But Gary, I'm trying to tell you, dog. That's still the illusion of social media. It's not that many people.
You don't think the other?
No, it's not because, bro,
they be looking like they winning,
like they up, but it's only like 12 of them. It's not really as many people as you think. I think there are more people in it now because there's more access to information. Mm-hmm. Yes, but I don't think the numbers are as like out of control as people may make it seem. Not at all. I still don't think because even if you have a seminar with 100 people there and you give them free game, how many people do you think will actually apply it? I say 5.
5 out of the 100.
5 out of the 100. That's actually gonna go out and do it. I say like 5.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the other 95 are there for
motivation, pure motivation. Just like when you start seeing these, like have you ever gone to a Robert Kiyosaki event, Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I went to one, and You pay. You keep pay, it's a hustle because they keep paying to go to the next level. Oh, we'll do more. We'll do more. We'll do more. I'm like, all right, nah, fuck that. But they know. I'm not giving y'all my money. But they know that half of them people in that room ain't gonna do absolutely nothing. But they know that they can get a free hustle, a few dollars off of them to get them to come in there and be motivated for a minute. Because everybody want to dream.
Everybody want to dream.
But the hustle is sold separately.
Mm.
So I don't think it's as many people doing it as you think. They talking, but I don't think they're doing it.
But they ain't out there. We're gonna leave it off on that.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. Imageless Podcast. I don't know how to close this thing out, but Imageless Podcast. We had T Hardaway. The T is for tough.
What up, though?
Check out her social media.
Yeah.
Did it for the hood. What is that about, real quick?
What is it about? So, damn, Gary, we should have did this a little earlier. But look,
I know it's late.
I'll give you the fast rundown.
So it could be a person that got $1 million just waiting to sow.
Let's
to
go.
Sow in your to
victory lap. Nipsey, R.I.P.
To sow you a seed.
Okay, so this is what Did It for the Hood is about. First of all, we got to start with the name. Everything is relevant when it comes to the name. The name Did It for the Hood is not only talking about your neighborhood, but it's also talking about the hood that you wear when you graduate from college. So that's that colorful thing they put around your neck is called a hood. So I did it for my hood recently. In May, I received my hood. I received my Juris Doctorate degree. But then I thought back on my life, and I thoroughly believe that God or whatever you believe in, if you look at your life backwards, you've been getting prepared for this moment the whole time. You just didn't realize it. And I thoroughly believe that. So when I looked at my law enforcement career, it taught me compassion for people. When I went to college, I had no direction. And I just started going backwards. Like I went to a high school where basketball took me to a Magna high school that had me ready for college. But if I hadn't played sports, I wouldn't have ended up there. And I just thought like my whole life was ordained because it had nothing to do with me, right? So when I got to the point where I was at now, I thought about all the things that I had to learn the hard way. And I said, you know what? I'm sure there are a bunch of other kids that are just like me who could really get their life fast-tracked if they had some direction. Mm-hmm. And not just know like BS, like things that they really need to know right now. Like, hey, when you go on this college campus, these credit card companies are targeting you. Hey, when this happens, blah, 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 blah. So, Did It for the Hood is that. We do everything. We do video testimonials of people who've made it out the neighborhood. Because that was also a big thing for me. I realized that kids got social media stars or they had scripted television when it came to like a black lawyer, a black doctor. They didn't have somebody that they could literally watch and see, hey, this person went through XYZ. Or either when you get in that profession, you try to paint yourself as so perfect. I didn't want that. I wanted the flaws. Because I want you to know, I want the kids to know, no matter what you're in, you can still make it out of your circumstances. So I have people on there just telling all kind of stuff about themselves because that's the truth of it, and that's what really gives people knowledge and courage. So we do social media stuff. We're doing curriculums. We're doing all kind of stuff. And Did It for the Hood is just that, man. We're just doing it for the neighborhood, doing it for the people.
Creating something that you wish you had.
Yeah. I'm giving back in that way so that the next generation doesn't have to go through what we went through.
Paying it forward.
Absolutely. This is a labor of love. This has nothing to do with anything else. It's just a labor of love because I really want these kids to understand. I really want them to know that they're capable and just to pour into them. Because I realize so many kids don't have anybody to pour in. Just to say, you're capable, you're worthy. And it's such a small thing, but it's such a big thing. And I especially working in a school, everybody had this, oh, if you don't be good, you're going to go to jail. Oh, if you don't be good. Why is nobody saying, you should be good because you're a king? You're better than that. Like, nobody's pouring in. I want to pour in. So, I mean, it may sound very idealistic, but that's how I feel about it.
And there's you, along with many others, that have been moving like this, right?
Yeah.
Before all these things started to happen.
Oh yeah. Now this is a movement. I'm like,
Right.
nah, this is
That's what
it's a movement.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Nah.
It's like
It's not a movement.
just because you don't hear from certain people don't mean they're not moving. Like
Right.
they've been moving.
Right.
They've been moving. They like, see, told you, you better better strap up. You know what I'm saying? So, Imageless podcast.
Yo.
Any comments? Anything that you would like us to talk about? Go ahead, leave them in the comments. Whatever. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's it.
Yo. What the last little comment say?